to It's Elementary, where we write and code interactive stories. Today's guest is Kim Marie, an elementary tech teacher. You can connect with her on Twitter at Tech. It's in the description. Don't worry, you can find it there. And together we'll be coding our way to digital citizenship. So I'm just going to hand it over to Kim Marie and let her kind of go through everything and kind of talk about what she does in her classroom, maybe like what her first experience with coding is, and some of that. So take it away. Oh, I think we might be a little paused. Hello, are you there? There's a bit of a... Okay, great.
In a suburban district. I work at two schools, so
Okay, we might be facing some technical difficulties. Let's see if I can do it.
A large clientele.
Sorry, it seemed like I couldn't hear very well. It just like chopped up everything. So your introduction was like very, very choppy. I'm gonna just check on my side of the internet or just exit anything that I don't need to see if maybe that will fix some of our problems. So, sorry, but can you introduce yourself again? Because like that whole segment was like completely chopped out.
Okay, round two. Round two. My name is Kim Cathalis, and I teach elementary grades K through 5. I have over 600 students in 2 buildings. And I also run an after-school STEM club where we do coding and robotics.
Awesome. That was perfect. So great. It finally went through. It was just kind of strange on my end. And yeah, that's really cool. 600 students. Whenever I talk to people who are in charge of like, library media or like those specials, anyone who teaches specials, I'm just 600 students. That's a lot. Like most I've ever taught was 100 and I can't even remember half of their names. So
I know.
I always applaud you guys.
It's so hard. I try so hard for like word association, like as much as I can, or like, it's really tough. Or because I work at 2 buildings,
they
always say like there's a twin, like everyone has a twin.
Oh my God.
I swear I have like this one kid at one building, he looks exactly like this other kid at the building. And one is Juan and one is Joe, and I constantly mess them up all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you have a twin, so I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it's very difficult. It's also difficult because you have to, I try to find something that can go K through 5, right? Which is really hard because kindergarten are just getting the devices for the first time. Now, next school year, so this school year our pre-Ks are getting them. So next school year, my kindergarten will be a little bit more ahead. But right now, my kindergartners are coming in blind. So, it's a lot of teaching them just the very basics. We're a 1-to-1 Apple district, so we use only Apple products. So our K through 8 have iPads, and our 9 through 12 have MacBook Airs.
Okay. Yeah, that's
only, yeah, and the 2 schools that I work at are Apple distinguished schools.
Awesome. That's really cool. So how is your school year going to be this year? Do you know at all, or is it still up in the air?
I'm hoping it's going to change. We are one of the only districts that is still doing full day with lunch. So I am not opposed to necessarily going in, but I'm very opposed to the full day with lunch. So I'm just hoping that there's some sort of change. The 2 districts on either side of us that connect, They're both going all virtual, and we're still full day with lunch. So I'm really hoping. I'd love to jump ship and go over there. No. Yeah, I'm just hoping it changes to maybe half day, or virtual, one of the two.
Yeah, that's really crazy that you have such big differences just between like crossing over to the next neighborhood essentially.
I know. It's really, I just, like I said, I have a husband that has medical needs, I have medical needs. So between, my husband and myself, we're very concerned,
Yeah,
obviously. And,
obviously.
the full day with lunch is really what's getting us, because the minute those kids take the mask off to eat, you've just negated everything you've done all morning, so all the precautions that you've taken, the minute they take their mask off to eat, it's right back where it's just negated everything in the morning. So so I'm just hoping that there is some sort of change, but we haven't heard anything as of yet.
Yeah, especially since you do teach specials, they're always concerned about, since you do see all the students, it's not like the pod sort of format where everything's kind of contained within their little circle. So it's really a huge risk for people like you. That's really tough. I hope everything goes well and things kind of pan out in a positive way for everyone's health.
Me too.
I mean, so yeah, I prior to this, I was already talking to Kim. We were already getting ahead of ourselves, and we were talking about digital citizenship. And she kind of talked about how she really likes to have her students have an end product to kind of demonstrate their understanding of everything and just have something to show rather than, just a quiz that says, I did this, I did this. I don't really care about any of this, but I'm doing it anyway, and I'm going to hate this topic after I'm done with this quiz. Right. So, right. Yeah, so previously, what have you done, and then we can see how we can kind of transform what you've kind of done already onto something like elementary, and maybe take it a step up for your students who are maybe need more of a challenge, and also provide kind of some extra help for those that might need that extra help. Okay, it froze again. Hello, hello. It was going so well. Kim, are you there? I heard a snap and then disappeared. Hello? Hello? I don't hear you though. What happened? At all? Okay, I hear you now.
Okay, good.
Okay. I was like, I see your mouth, and then I didn't hear you anymore.
Okay, I'm gonna move. It might be a little dark. Oh wait, let me move my chair. I'm trying to find a better spot. I mean, I don't have anything else on, so hopefully that helps. Okay. I'm in a new spot. Maybe that'll work. So I like to have some sort of end product for digital citizenship, because a quiz is just a very short way of them choosing an answer. And I really want to make sure that they internalize this and use this, right? These kids are going home and they are TikToking and Instagramming and whatever else. And not only do I want to make sure that they understand for school, but I want them to understand for life, right? So I really like them to create something that takes a long time for them to really focus and make something that hopefully will stick with them. And whether they do it alone or with one other partner is fine with me, because I don't see them as often, so I don't have a lot of time with them. So if they have to buddy up to make something, I'm okay with that. So we've used cartoons, digital cartoons. So they had to create a digital cartoon with digital citizenship. So they had to take one of the elements, whether it was privacy, whether it was, online bullying, any of the different, because digital citizenship is such a broad topic, right? So whether it was internet safety, whether it was privacy, not giving your name. And of course, the topics were different based on the grade, right? So first grade, it was more about, not talking to strangers and not giving out your name and things like that. And more fifth grade was more about, the online safety and the bullying and that kind of stuff. So it definitely ranged with the grades. But to make the digital cartoon, I felt was such a better way for them to write the script, right? For them to create the scenario, and then act it out. So I really enjoyed that a lot. And that's what I would like to use Elementari for, to create something that is a digital citizenship piece that they would be able to have.
Awesome. So I already shared a little bit of this template with him already, but I just want to share it with you guys so you guys can take a look. But previously we had another episode on digital citizenship, and it was on basically filling out a template. So this would be really good for when we're talking about younger grade levels, like first grade, second grade, learning keyboarding skills, learning how to write a little. And for those who don't know how to write, then they can just kind of essentially create a voiceover and then add the voiceover to the answer. So in this way, they don't have to start from scratch. It's less creative, of course, but it does take less time to finish a project, and it's really geared for more the younger grades. And for today, I think what would be really fun is something that can be more creative would be to mix our choose your own adventure sort of storytelling uh, with digital citizenship, because in digital citizenship we have to make a lot of choices, and depending upon the choice they might have different scenarios. I generally would recommend choose your own adventure to be third grade and up, simply because it does require writing skills and quite a lot of writing skills. I mean, the bottleneck is going to be the writing, not really so much the coding. So the core would be how to write it properly. And if you are face to face, what would be really good is then you compare, well, kind of, I guess, pair students up in a, I don't really know how you would do it in a very safe way, but maybe pair them up so that they can write their story kind of together. So it's less writing intensive for one student. So to get started with that, I'm going to ask him to share her screen with us. And so we can get started creating on Elementari, and she can just check it out and we can try writing and coding together. So if you also want to create a story at home, you can go on www.elementari.io. You can create an account for free. And you can also create a classroom of up to 35 students for free as well. So, yeah.
My screen sharing is disabled.
Okay, that's my fault. I always forget to do that. Okay, great. You should be able to share your screen now.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so now we have our beautiful screen share. Oh, she's already uploaded her avatar and her banner for her virtual classroom. And we're going to get started, and you can click on write or write a story. So either one works. So it's the right, yep, right there. Oh, that's really cute. You have the icon for the touch, which is the two fingers. Then click on the blank page or start writing to start a new project. Great. Okay, so we have an animation tutorial. This is something that the kids can go through, or you can go through. It's step by step. You can't really choose anything else than what they want you to choose. We're just going to cancel out of it for now, and we can just get started writing. So yeah, just cancel out. And you'll notice it looks a lot like, PowerPoint or Google Slides or any sort of slides presentation sort of view. You have, okay, you have your pages on the left-hand side and your main page that you can create on the center. So I think the first thing that we can do when we kind of create our story would be to maybe add like a title page, maybe a background, maybe an image, things like that. So to do so, on the right-hand side, you'll notice that there's different, yep, icons. You can click on them and then they'll open up. And so, for example, click on background, and you have some backgrounds that you can choose from. And you can just either, click on it to add it to the page. And you could do the same thing with images, with text, things like that. So it's pretty easy to use in terms of creating your layout. So something that's really fun would be like, you could create your comic. So for students who maybe struggle a little bit more with writing, they're going to be using the comic speech bubbles a lot more, I would think, to kind of bring in their story. Yep. And
Mhm. So
perfect.
that template that you had, where if I wanted to start from a template, I would have to pick a template.
Yeah, so any published story can become a template. So mine is already
Okay.
published, so you can just go to that story and then you can click on remix to copy that template and then you can use it. And if you want to create your own template, all you have to do is publish it and then students can use that as a template. So,
Oh, okay. All
yeah.
right. So I could start something
Yeah.
here like you did with like bubbles, and then I can publish it, but then just leave it blank, and then they can go back and put stuff in.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that.
Oh, that would be great. That would be easy.
Yeah, so for another thing that you can do, so let's say for this choose your own adventure, you can already maybe set up the choices and maybe the students just need to go in and, fill in what the choice will
Yeah.
be. And so you can already kind of pre-code it for the younger students. So that way they can still have a really cool, choose your own adventure story that they can play, but they didn't have to go through all of the code by themselves. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so we have our first page on here. You can maybe later on add, a background music. That's pretty popular. So you can like choose a background music and set it. Yep, it would just be in the sounds, and then you would have to code it to play. So let's actually try to add a new page and create like our first, voice. Let's say. So so you could pick another background image that you like.
I don't want to waste too much time choosing. Maybe I'll just use the same one.
Yeah, and if you want to use the
And
same one, and yeah, you can also copy and paste the entire slide. So we can go through and do that together later. You can also filter by the category. So right now this is like everything, but if you want to find humanoid characters, you can go from the drop down. Or if you want to find animals, you can go in the drop down and choose from the drop down menu. Or you can also search.
oops. Can you write on top of these images or no?
So you can layer a text box above the image. So you can just put it on top. So you can do on top and behind.
I like this one. I like this one.
You can copy and paste it if you like the same one.
Oh, you can. All right.
Yeah, so you can like keep the same size and stuff for the most part.
All right. So now you said I can put text.
So you have to add a text and then you could put it on top. Yeah, so you could just do add subtitle and then you can like put it on top.
Oh, you can put it right on.
Yep.
Okay, great.
So it's also fun if you want for younger students to create like a hidden picture book, like an I Spy sort of book, and you can layer things.
Okay.
Great. So I'm assuming like you want them to maybe click on one of the clouds and then go to a different page. Right. Okay, great. Yes. So let's first add our 2 pages. So you can either, just add 2 pages and go back to page 2 so we can kind of code how that would work. So in order to code, we have to click on the event graph. So it's a button on the top. It's blue. Mm-hmm. And you click on that and it flips the page to the back side. So every page has 2 sides, the front side where you can lay out and design everything, and the back side, which is where you can code everything. So we code by connecting blocks together. It's a little bit different from Scratch or code.org, things like that, and we'll just check it out. So the first thing we need is we need an event. So let's go grab an event. At the right hand, yep, right there. And so we're going to grab an event. Let's do on click because we want to click on the text and then direct the reader to another page. Great. So that's event is on click. And now we need, guess what we need next?
The what object?
Yeah.
What?
Yep, you need an object. Great. So let's grab the object.
Oh, they come up, the ones you already have. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So you might want to do, instead of the cloud, the text itself, because the words. Okay. So great. So now we have online bullying, and when I click on online bullying, I want to, so you want to first move them so we can see all the blocks. All right, great.
Do they go next to each other, or?
So you want to put maybe the text 0, the purple box underneath, and maybe right there, and then get rid of image 1 so you can delete that one. So this is collapsing. So yeah, you could just click on the trash can. There's a little, right there. Great. So now you want to maybe drag over on click a little bit to the right so we can see all the words. Great. So you're going to connect, well, let's first get all the blocks we need. So we have an object, we have an event on click, and now we need a function because the function tells us what we're going to do. So there's a lot of functions. The one we're going to use is go to page.
Go to page.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
So go to page basically directs the reader to a specific page. So then you can choose what page you want to go to. Okay, great. So what's important is our green blocks, the functions, should kind of be on the right of the event. So because we're going to think of this kind of like a flow chart, and we're going to connect our blocks together. So we're going to grab the triangle and connect it with the other triangle. Yep, just like that. And so now we need to connect the object to the event. So let's see if you can figure that one out.
No. Object. No. Let's see. This is purple. This is purple. Nope.
Purple to purple.
Purple to purple. Oh, I got it. Okay.
Okay. So basically you would connect purple circles to purple circles, the white triangles, the white triangle. And we can actually try it out now. If you click on preview, yep, right there. Okay, it froze on me, but okay, we'll just lower. Great. Were you able to navigate? Couldn't check.
It went very easily.
Okay, great. So you're able to now go to a certain page when you click. And so the same logic would apply for the other text box. So then you would say privacy, on click, go to page 4, for example. So let's try that.
All that is on this. All this is here. So all this would be here.
Yeah. So you would just repeat what we've done for the second text box. And so you'll notice that, the blocks don't flip into each other like they do on Scratch or Code.org or other coding platforms.
Yeah, I think that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah, don't worry, you're not the first one. People who come in who have had previous experience on Scratch or Code.org, they all want to clip things together, and they're like, "Why doesn't it snap? Why doesn't it snap?" Yeah. And that's because the way that we use the visual programming, it's called a node-based visual programming environment. And this is actually used in professional software. It's used in Unreal Engine as well as Unity. Both of them are professional game development engines that create ginormous games. So this misconception that visual coding is just for babies, it's not real coding. Real coding is JavaScript. That's completely false, and it's not about writing in multiple languages, as many languages as we can, saying hello world. It's about creating a complex project. And if you can do that in block, or if you can do that in text-based, both of them are demonstrating your logical thinking and analysis, not really so much like if I can write hello world in 12 languages better. So yeah, I can show you briefly, but basically Unreal Engine, it's called Blueprint. And Unreal Engine is also the game development engine that is used to create Fortnite. And let me just share with you. See? So it looks like this. I don't know if you can see very well since I'm not sharing my screen with you. But basically, my link address. So it looks like this. It's got nodes, it's got blocks, you connect them together. So this Unreal Engine is the game development engine that created Fortnite, Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Literally hundreds of games are produced by this engine. And the other one is called Unity Volt. And Unity is another game development engine, and it's very similar as well. I just found out that the Bolt visual scripting is going to be included on all Unity plans just literally 2 months ago, which is really cool.
What was the other one you had? Unity game. What was the one you used first?
So the first one is Unreal Engine Blueprint. They also have an event graph, so we use kind of like the same words. And this is the one that has like Fortnite, Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Tons and tons of games are developed by this game engine. It's probably the biggest game engine for creating 3D games in the professional sphere. And the second one is Unity, which is another huge game development engine. And they also have a visual coding environment as well. So
if I could them both, I'd be able to find. It's really hard for me to see what you have, but
yeah,
I'd be able.
Yeah, I'll share with you a little bit later so you can see better because I think right now you have like the tiny chat, so the
No,
tiny
because
chat window.
the minute I explain to my kids that, this is what the game people use,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hooked, right?
Yeah,
Like that's it. I am like King Messiah right
King
now.
Messiah.
Like the minute I say like, well, this is how like, Fortnite and this, oh, that's it. Um, so I would like to show them that as well.
Yeah, and it's a very real connection that they can see. I mean, it won't be the same blocks, obviously. They're using much more complex functions, but they'll be able to see, oh, they also connect blocks together and they can code really cool stuff. That means I can also create really cool stuff as well. And it's all
Yeah.
about trying to get students to continuously iterate over their projects, which I think is the key in creating anything really. Like as long as they spend time on it, it's gonna be really good. So,
Right. So let me ask you this black, when I'm looking at it looks like an infinite page, right? Because I can
yeah,
move this.
yeah, you
Because if
can.
you have a ton of stuff on here that you want all of it to do something, you would
Mm-hmm.
need a lot of space, right? So this looks like a
Yes.
infinite page, right?
Yeah, it's really big, and you can also make it bigger by clicking on the little full screen icon next to the trash can. Yeah, so that can help you with just seeing more blocks on a page, especially when you're on a smaller screen like a Chromebook or even an iPad is really tiny. So
Mhm.
yeah, so this is just a very simple example of GoToPage. We use GoToPage for choose your own adventures, creating quizzes, two truths, one lie. Those are all applications of this function. And I always say, like, yeah, basically second, third grade, if you're only focusing on this, they can pick it up pretty quickly and they'll be able to create their own, choose your own adventure, escape rooms, or whatever, and just spamming this function on all their pages. Um,
Right. How come this yellow thing doesn't get connected? Like I see the purple goes to
yeah,
purple, goes to white. How come the yellow doesn't go to anything?
that's a great question. So basically, the yellow node is it's a boolean, so it's a true false. So this is only really useful if you start going into variables and understanding what true false states are, because then you can make it so that this thing is only clickable if something is true.
Mhm.
So you can make
Okay.
things like, I don't know, like the one I always use is like a key in a treasure chest. You can only click on the treasure chest if you've already picked up the key on page 2. Otherwise, you can't open up the treasure chest because you don't have the key. And so that would be what it would be used for.
Right. So if you were to do something with, let's say, math, if the answer is 5, then you get this. If the answer is something other than 5, then you don't open the box or whatever it is.
Yeah, you can do things like that. The easiest way to do that would be using our using the text variable. So we have an input field that you can type in answers to. So then you can create an input in which people type in something. The one example I use to introduce this concept is when you create a name, so an input name. So like for example, for digital citizenship, you can say, what is your name? They can type in their name, and then that name is used throughout the story. So that would be an instance of using a text variable. And then the next step up would be using a conditional. So then you would be comparing to see if that text variable is equal to a certain value. So then you can do your like, if it's this, then do this, otherwise do something else. So that would
Okay.
be an example of that.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know what you would want to do right now. It's kind of up to you. We can kind of go in any direction. It's open. So you can either, continue, or you can ask about how to do animations, or if you want to do a variable, that's up to you as well.
So if I go back to the blank page, now I have to go back to layout design, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
the layout design is where I'm creating, right? And
Yes.
then the graph is where I'm doing the coding.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right. So if you had a sound, um, you were saying that the kids could record their voice, right?
Yes.
So if I did a sound and I said record voiceover, so obviously this would be me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I said,
So there's a 3, 2, 1 countdown. So you click on it, click on the gray thing, and then there'll be a 3, 2, 1 countdown for you to record.
yeah, it's not letting me.
Could it
Why?
be maybe the microphone access was
Oh, here it
disabled?
is. Yep, it was under your picture.
Oh.
There we go. Congratulations, you won the prize. Something like that. So let's say they did something and they did it right,
Mhm.
right? If they do it right, I want my sound to play.
Okay.
If they don't do it right, then I want them to try it again.
Okay. So the first thing we would do is record a sound. So yep, put in the text.
Okay.
Okay. So we have now the sound is on the page. We're gonna now
let's say I want them to do like a
what is this? This is not a ribbon.
yeah, I want like our trophy or something.
Some of the search is kind of iffy. There needs to be better tags on all the images.
Yeah. Let's see. Not a strawberry. Let's see. We'll do a star just to not be here all day. All right, so we'll do the star. Okay, so now, all right. So now I have this star.
Mhm.
So now do I go to the event graph to link the sound?
Yep. So you have to go to the event graph to figure out how you want to play the sound. So ideally, probably the easiest way would be on page start. So when they go onto this page, this is like the right answer page, and you'll have another page that's the wrong answer, essentially.
Right.
So
Okay, so
yeah, you're gonna need a function.
so this would be not play text, play sound.
Play.
Right?
This is play sound effect. It's not this one. Go down a little bit.
Okay.
So you have
What am I doing? Play music.
no, play record sound. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. So then you just connect those.
And then I put that. Congrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a condition, right? Because
no, we just leave it.
Right. There is no condition. Okay.
We just say if they get it right, they're going to be directed to this page. Otherwise, they're going to be directed at a different page. Because we're assuming we're going to have 2 buttons or 3 buttons. And each of these buttons are either right or wrong. So then, all right, great. So you can preview it to make sure it plays.
Congratulations, you won the prize. Yay, that's so cute.
Yeah, so then you can exit out. So what's cool is, so let's actually create maybe a page between page 2 and page 3. That will be like our, question. You can rearrange it. Yeah, something like that. And let's actually just add we can add a dummy question or a dummy answers. Let's add, dummy questions, dummy answers, something like that. So to add an answer, you can add a button, which is really useful because it looks like a button. It's under widgets, actually, because it's weird. So go under widgets. Yep, right there. You have button. So you can change the color of the button, do all sorts of stuff if you want. So you can just call it like, yeah. So you can say this is like, I don't know, the right answer and then wrong answer or something. Yep, and you can copy and paste it if you want the same color.
Oh, okay.
So you can select, copy, and paste. Yep, and then paste. You can also do Control C, Control V, or Apple C, Apple V if you're on another keyboard. Great. So let's actually try doing 2 wrong answers, and I'll show you something that we've done for, I guess, the wrong answer page. So create another, wrong answer. You could just copy paste it. Perfect. So there's a couple ways that you can go about it. You can make it so each of these options direct to a different page, right? So correct answer will go to page 4, wrong answer will go to page 5, and the third wrong answer will go to page, I don't know, 6. But you can also make it easier by now using our new option for go to page, which is return to origin, or I think it's called origin. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and above 1 you have origin. So origin basically says I'm going to the page that I previously came from. This is useful if you want to use the same like wrong answer slide for all of your wrong answers. So, for example, there was one person who wanted to do escape the lab, doing like lab safety, and he didn't want to create like 50 million scenarios in which people failed. He just wanted one scenario in which they failed, and it was just always direct to that page. And then he would choose origin to redirect them back to the original question. Just make it easier when you're creating the in his case, the escape room. So in our case, we can do the same thing. So you can have the right answer page as the star, and then you have a wrong answer page. Yep, right. Let's try page 5, for example. You can just, I don't know, put like wrong answer page or something.
I don't want that.
Okay.
I don't want that. How about here? How about this guy?
Looks good. So he's our wrong answer page.
I have it.
Okay. So basically what we would do then is usually on our wrong answer, we would want to redirect them back to the question. So you would add a button here on this page. Not this one, the button. This is a text input. So it's not quite what we want.
What did you want here?
A button. Yeah, just add another button so that way we can go back to the question.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can have like something that's like try again or something like that. Okay, so how we would code this is go back to the event graph. Yeah, you can put emojis and all sorts of stuff in it. So
on this page?
Yes, go on this page, the event graph, and I just want to show you the origins. So essentially the same thing, very simple.
It's not go to page.
Yes, it's go to page.
Go to page? Okay.
Yeah, well, later on you could record the sound and play it, but right now let's try go to page so we can redirect the user to the right place. So we want to go to page when we
when we click.
Yep, when we click. And what do we want to click?
We want to click the try again.
Yep. So then you just connect you would want to select the right page. No, so yeah, select origin. So this would be saying I want to go back to whichever page I came from.
Got it.
So it just makes it easier so you don't have to have so many.
Yeah. Then you have to think about what page it was.
Yeah. because when
Mhm.
you do try again, you want to redirect them always to the previous, where they were previously.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's it for that. And then you can add your voiceover and then have it play and say, this is wrong. And this would be like your wrong answer page, essentially.
Mhm.
And what you
Now,
can,
could you have it where you click it and it goes to orange and page and plays the sound?
so you can make it so it plays the sound first and then it goes to the different page. So the code is sectioned by the page. The only thing that carries over would be music. But if you want to, let's say, play a recording, then that's perfectly fine. And you can, like, when I click on try again, it plays a recorded sound and then it redirects it to the other page. So to do
Yeah,
that,
so how would you do that? That would
so
be
yeah, so you would want, so we're going to keep the click because we want to sequence our function, right? This is basically a sequence. And we want to use the function that is called play record sound, right? And we want to sequence that with go to page. So play record sound happens first. It's right there, perfect. So let's get rid of the connection between on click and go to page. So uh, you might want to maybe drag it over so you can actually click on the line. Yeah, there we go. So now you could delete it. And when we sequence functions together, yep, you got it right. You just want to put one right after the other. So left to right, and that's it. You just sequenced it. So this is saying on click, I want to play the recorded sound and then go to a different page. Right now, there's no recorded sound selected, so it won't play anything, but you can do that and then we can see how it goes.
right. So you'd have to so you have to make the sound first
Yes.
before you link.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
you can link it, but then you have to select it from the drop down. If you try to select, nothing's going to happen because there's no
Right.
sounds. Yeah.
You have to make it first.
Yeah, you have
You
to
have
make
to
it first.
in that layout design.
Yep, in the layout design.
Okay. And then when I come over here, then it'll show up like it did last time.
Yep, and then you can just select it.
Okay.
You're
I'm
like,
just gonna take
I got
this.
it.
I forget. I'm screenshotting all these things so I will remember later on.
Well, it's okay. If you forget, there's also the video replay, so you just watch yourself do it again. So great. You froze on me again. Ah, I see you. I don't hear you.
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay, yeah, you're back again. It was
Okay.
doing so well for a while. So yeah,
I
I don't
know.
know. Wow, time really flew. It's already almost 50 minutes in. I don't know if you have any questions that I can answer, or if you kind of just want it going.
Um, just a couple questions. Pages, are they unlimited? Is there a certain number of pages that you can have?
So technically, it's not unlimited, but you can go really, really high up. So I would say 30 pages, as because if you go further than like 500, then it starts getting really, really laggy and unusable. So it's just more like keep it under, 30 is a good range, 40 is a good range, maximum.
Free use or is there a subscription?
Okay, so
Like what?
yes. So we have multiple I guess plans. You have a free tier, which is up to 35 student accounts. They don't have access to all the illustrations and all the sounds. And mostly as a teacher, you won't have access to giving feedback or seeing student analytics. So as a teacher, you can go through and review the stories for free. But in order to give feedback page by page, you would have to pay for that. And also to see the student analytics. And what I mean by student analytics is you'll be able to see how long they spend writing, how long they spend coding, how many words or how many characters they've written, and how many lines they've coded, which is just kind of nice to see their kind of engagement overall. For paid plans, we have a couple different plans on our plans page that we just updated. We have a plan for like small individual teacher use. So that's up to 35 student accounts again. And that's $8 per month billed yearly or $10 per month billed. monthly. And then you have Educator Plus, which is more for larger classroom sizes. So that one is 150 student accounts, and that one is 200, or not 200. That one is $25 per month, billed yearly, which is $300, or it's $29 per month billed monthly. So that's on our plans page. And then afterwards, what we do is we have a school plan. So the school plan is generally $1.20 per student, and then we have a PD package that we kind of require schools to sign in on, which is 720, and that's a whole PD plus training that will be recorded for the school. And then I have questions like, what will happen if I have like 400 students that I want to use this on? Then with that, we generally say like we have the Educator Plus, the one that's $25 per month billed yearly, and then we just say additional student accounts past the 150 mark, we'll just say $2 per student per year, sort of thing. So there's lots of different ways of kind of going about it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any other questions aside from that.
No, because we we obviously right now with all the uncertainty, we don't have we're on a hiring freeze, we're on a we have like a budgeting freeze, so we're not hiring any teachers, we're not having anything. So right now is like a really tough time for me to sell anything to them at this,
Yeah.
So
yeah, totally understand. I mean, what you can kind of do is what?
Anything would have had to be like if it was something we were using, like we had to have that in by May of last year, because everything was done before July 1.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Even for some teachers I've heard like they requested things, in May, and then they just got all of that cut because then they're like, sorry.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy right now. So it's on top of trying to find like virtual things to use, we also have to be like creative in how we can do it and how it can get done, because there's just nothing there right now. It's just everything is just so in limbo.
Yeah, for sure. So the only thing that I would say is like, yeah, we have so the free tier is up to 35 student accounts, but you kind of have unlimited story access. So you can kind of play around with that. Otherwise, you could just leave it as I don't know, like what happened when people went virtual was people just gave it out as a resource for parents to do with their kids, kind of thing, or for students to sign up on their own. Because when you do have when students are in the classroom, they're not required to have email addresses, but like if you sign up as an individual, you do need to provide the email address. So that is kind of like a limitation, I suppose. So, yeah.
Okay, so how many with the free version, how many teachers can be on a class? Is it just one?
So it's one teacher, so one teacher for one classroom, and then they have 35 students. So if you do it more as a teacher, like your core teachers get their kids on board, and then you go in help, then that can be a way so that all the teachers can kind of use it, but it'll be kind of on their account per se.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I don't know if you have any questions about continuing to create your story. When you do publish your story, anyone can read it, so you can always just use it as a content creation tool, which is what we've seen some of the teachers for like ESL purposes or just younger kids. They just use it to create stories and have that extra jazz.
Now, if I for me to create stuff, how would I share this with people?
Yeah, so once you are done creating, there's a publish button. So you just click on publish, you fill out the form, and then it publishes. It'll have a public URL that you can then copy and share it to people that you want. And there's also like an embed code. So if you have like your own website for your classroom, then you can embed your story directly in the website.
Okay, great. So it's just once you publish it, it's just a URL.
Yeah, it's just a URL, and you copy and share it.
Okay, that's easy.
Yeah.
So now, if I get out of this, will it save my work?
It's already saved. It's already saved. So it auto saves. the whole time.
Okay, good.
So
That's a good thing because, many times I'm like back and forth in between classes or in between whatever, and I don't want to lose anything. Okay, great.
definitely.
Perfect.
So yeah. I mean, at the end, I don't know if you have any ideas of how maybe you want to use it in the future, or you just want to talk about some of the things that maybe your students struggle with digital citizenship last couple minutes, or you could just chill and check out the stories. The stick figure
Yeah,
story is really cool. You should definitely look at that one. It's by a fifth grader over a remote learning period, and he wrote it for one of his
which one?
classmates. The stick figure story by Cooper W. It's a third row, third column, or no,
Oh,
up.
here. Oh, okay, it's
Yeah,
cute.
yeah. So he actually like created the stick figure using the shapes, which I thought was pretty intense.
Very cute.
And it's a choose your own
Yeah.
adventure with like music, sound effects.
Oh my God, so cute. So if I wanted to show this to kids, like let's say like I was in a Zoom call like this, or I was in school, God knows where we'll be, I could actually show them these stories, right? For like just for creativity,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. You can just, screen share it, share your sound, and share it with them for story time. So you can, show it to them, create your own to show to them. If they have stories they've created, you can share those, things like that. So if you do something more like remote learning.
If I look at this though, I don't see the code, right? I only see it done, right?
So you
I
can
can't see the code.
you can see the code if you remix it. So you click on the remix button and it'll copy everything, and then you can take a look at how it looks like.
So where was that? Let's see. Oh, down here. Got it. Okay. Because I would like, for the kids to see like how this kind of all goes down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then
Well,
you could just click on the event graph and see what they did.
very cool. All right, I like this. Yes,
Yeah.
very nice.
And when you publish a remix, it automatically credits and notifies the original source. So there's also that digital citizenship tie-in as well. And when you
Cool.
publish a story, it automatically credits and notifies all contributing artists who have contributed to your story. So whoever, made the backgrounds, they'll have that in the credits in the story.
Very cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. Because I love this whole idea of this like virtual escape room. I love this stuff, but the breakout EDU is just so expensive. There's no way we can afford that. So I've been trying to find ways of doing something similar without,
Mm-hmm.
spending $1,000.
Yeah, so I actually have for a virtual escape room, there's a template. I can share that with you as well, and you can take a look at that. But basically, you have, some fill in the blank choices that they can kind of fill in the answer to, and you can just
Mhm.
remix it to kind of change it up, do as you will. Um, I've seen a lot of interest in escape rooms recently, so I might do like, tips for adding clues to your escape room video at some point. Um,
It's
just
definitely fun. I mean, listen, the kids love it. I've been to many like breakout EDU sessions and they're all amazing. But the cost of the physical boxes, the cost of the physical locks, and the cost of the subscription to make it. And it's just for me,
yeah.
it's just too much, you know. So
Yeah, so the big thing is also I've seen, so we also just added user uploads as a premium option. So basically if you want to create your own escape rooms and want to, use your own images, or maybe like you want to take a puzzle from some other website and want the kids to like, connect the puzzles together, or have some sort of image that's already created on another website, you can just port them in as well and then code the lock directly within Elementary. So, I mean, for virtual escape rooms, you don't really have that many options, I think, for like creating. I mean, most people use a mixture of Google Doc or Google Forms with Google Slides, but that's really ugly and really cumbersome because you have to navigate through tabs and not
Mhm.
close out of the not close out of the browser on
I
accident.
know. It's I was very confused. I mean I started and I was like, oh yeah, no, mm-mm.
Yeah, so I mean, it's already hard enough for kids, I think, to just like navigate on like one page, let alone trying to navigate through tabs. Um,
Yeah. Because I was
so,
even doing something like almost, much lower, obviously, but similar to like you said, like a choose your own adventure, like using Keynote, where because again, we're Apple, so
mhm,
using like Keynote where I could put things and then it's like, I put multiple answers and then, if it was right, I go to the next slide, I link it to the next slide. If not,
mhm,
it goes to slide, 14 that has
mhm,
like a big like try again, and I don't have to make 1,000 try agains because every time I want try again, I just go to slide 14. I
mhm,
know my slide 14 is the try again. I just, every time it's not right, I just send it to number 14, you
mhm.
know? Um, so that was similar to what I was doing with Keynote, um, you know, but that's the only way I could do it that was sort of easier and lot a lot less expensive.
Yeah, I mean, the the whole like choose your own adventure thing, there's a lot of things that can kind of like direct to a different page. What's kind of more interesting if you want to like step up, I guess, like the coding side of things would be to use some of the variables. So for example, like think of like a BuzzFeed style quiz. In a BuzzFeed
Mhm.
quiz where it's like, oh, how likely will you survive the zombie apocalypse? You've done them. Or like, how much of a Disney princess are you? Those those type of quizzes. The mechanism behind it is pretty much you have a couple choices. Depending upon the choice, you'll get a range of a score. So either you'll get 1 point or 2 points or 3 points added to your total score value. And you
Right.
just multiply that by however many questions you have. And at the very bottom line, you're just checking to see if your score is between this range. And if it's
Mhm.
in this range, then you are like, you survived the zombie apocalypse with flying colors, or you are a Disney princess times two, And then if you have a lower score, then you'll have different, tiers. So those are
Mhm.
like things, but those require like the use of variables, which is not really not really accessible in unless you want
Yeah.
to like code it yourself. So I really want to do a BuzzFeed quiz sort of tutorial in the very near future, aka this week sometime. But that can be something for I would say fifth grade would be really interested in that
Mhm.
sort of thing
Yeah.
because typically when we see variables like, oh, you're going to make your robot go X distance, or you're going to have a score in, I don't know, a platforming game, and you're just going to increment by one. So trying to see, putting variables in different contexts, I think is really important to just cement their understanding of what it is. Because unfortunately, when kids do go through code.org for the understanding variables, the teacher thinks they understand variables, but when you ask the students what is a variable, you get different responses that aren't necessarily always on point. So it's all depending upon students need to apply it in multiple ways.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I already went way over time, so I'm going to stop the stream.